2:10 in the afternoon, West Coast time. It's still Wednesday, the 24th of April, 2024. We were John C. Roseman, California. To shout out to Artists in Recovery and also to Reverend Ed Travers. Well, I suppose you're shaking your heads at that one. That's the last video I just did. Not the ones directly addressed to you, but to our Commander in Chief. Why not? I'm allowed to write the guy in the first place. I'm constitutionally allowed to do so to keep track of my elected officials and let them know what the public is thinking about. And this is what I'm thinking about. Of course, my mother's going to be waking up from the sound of my voice and driving me crazy. Yeah, I'm worried about the dog. Yeah, I invited the federal government coming down my throat. What the hell? I've already got the IRS and the state franchise tax board on my ass. What the hell? There's nothing wrong. But some things I got to deal with anyway. I feel like I've already lost a lot already. The physical items, yeah, they're special enough, but that makes it even harder for me. Dude and Reverend, when you've lost the most special thing in your life, one thing that matters the most. Reference to City Slicker #1, Jack Palance. Nothing else matters. Well, except for my dog, and I got to worry about her health. Hell, to take away my chances of going back over to college. As far as I know, I could graduate, and I still can, if allowed. I can screw around with my Social Security. It's the only thing I'm getting these days. My disability. Physically, I can't work. Mentally, I'm screwed up. Already got that officially put in the records. So, I'm not worried about that. They can insult the living crap out of me. To Reverend Ed Travers, when we were talking about things about following a certain religion, if we happen to give ourselves over, what kind of a cost? I already paid my cost. I already lost them. I already lost them. In heaven they remain safe and sound under God, but in this mud ball we're still existing in, I paid that cost. They're gone. It hurts. What can they do? Kill me? Let me rot in jail? I still got the prison up in here. And in here. The prison residents will probably want to put me out of my condition or situation. I wouldn't put it past them. They hadn't heard me wail, just for no apparent reason. I get triggered, and I cry like crazy. I mourn, I grieve, I pray, all at the same time. I wouldn't be mourning and praying and grieving over the country, but about my family. Afraid of death, but I still want to join them. I still want to be with them. And I will drive my family crazy over that one. Because my family matters more to me than anything else. When you realize that one thing, when you lose that one thing, you might as well tear out your own heart, put an artificial pacemaker in there. Because the amount of stress you're going to be putting on your cardiovascular system. And yeah, Art, I tell Mr. President about what was going on. Because I wanted him to know where I stood. And I don't mind the investigation. Let him tear me apart left and right. I'll be expecting a knock on the door anytime now, or my system's plugged in and monitored. Let them, if they can make kind of a threat. I got nothing to lose. Doesn't sound like I'm turning into a martyr, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of memories I've got for the stuff here, and they're all physical items that are made of atoms, and other things have meaning and other things don't. But when they do, yeah, I have the memories. And if my pictures go, then they go, and they're history. But the thing is, what matters to me more to me is still dealing in this life of loss of family. Despite the fact I may have a few friends out there, I may have biological lines out there. Maybe one or two have already kept in contact with me, and that's a good thing right there. Everyone else has just been on their own thing, and for me, I want my family with me. This will be flagging my therapist on this one, guys. I know they're probably going to be saying to me, people probably telling me that I need to get out of here, I need to live life, I need. No, they say what they want me to have. They think I should have. Might as well be asking me what I need or what I want. I don't remember asking God to remove the pain. It's the only thing I have left of remembering my family, because every time I remember my family, I have pain. Because I have loss. Because I miss the people that I had special times with, and they're not here. So I will deal with the loss. I will deal with the pain. I will deal with it until my mortal body says I can't deal with it anymore. And then I'll give out. But until that happens, I still have to deal with life on life's terms. If I'm able to get things done, I'm able to get things done. Despite the political claptrap happening these days, despite people losing their damn heads, despite all the religious and other nonsense happening these days that scare the crap out of us, this is what I deal with. There's nothing wrong with it. So for right now, the only thing I can deal with. I'm scared of what's happening these days. But sometimes I have to look at it from a different point of view, guys. I'm only afraid if I allow the fear to happen. As if I got something to lose, and I got nothing to lose. If God and Jesus don't want to use me, fine. I'm here. And if I have to get out of my comfort zone, then I guess I'll have to. And I'll do. Doesn't mean I'm turning into a martyr or anything else like that. I'm not looking forward to next week, though. Doctor's appointments. Therapy appointment. Just for today, right now, I'm surviving. It's the only thing I can say and do about it. I'm not pissed off at anybody just yet. Only if I've got enough to fear and be angry about it. You know, they say fear turns outward, you got anger. Fear turns inward, you got depression. I got both. But I don't have the anger necessary to go after people, so maybe I don't have both. What I do have right now is I'm dealing, I'm surviving, and I'm coping. I hurt, I'm in pain. And this is life. I'm sticking with what I've got. I am not pulling off my videos. I'm not pulling off my viewpoints either. It is what it is. I've put it out there on record. Let a boomerang hit me upside the head if they have to. I'm not turning into a martyr either. You know what's thinking about martyrs? Martyrs are egomaniacs. They want attention. They want to be known for some stupidity. I'm not. I'm not being a martyr. I am being me. And being me is a guy in pain right now. I got rid of one pain. Now I got to deal with other pains happening at this point, including in here. No, not heart attack. I'm still dealing with the grieving and mourning. It's still in there. It's just, it's like an empty black hole ready to suck me into it. Suck me into oblivion. It hurts. I see friends losing people and places and things. I see people losing family one way or another. It hurts. I cry. I mourn. I weep. I pray. Reverend, there's nothing wrong with being human. There's nothing wrong with pouring your heart and soul out and crying like crazy for the other person. There's nothing wrong with being yourself like that. I've been through death before once. Actually, 3 times. I never liked it in the first place. I've had near death a few times in my life. Never liked that either. I don't wish it on anybody. I don't want it on anybody. I don't want people to turn them into martyrs because they think they're going to the afterlife. Well, they may be going to an afterlife, but maybe it's going to be a different viewpoint. Maybe they're going to get a judgment day on that one. I hate to be at that council meeting. Heard about those. You got to prove yourself to the council whether or not you're going to be fit to go into heaven that way. I read about those books. People die, come back to life, and they talk about these kinds of experiences left and right. There was one author back in the 90s I was reading on this one. And I wasn't quite sure if she was actually writing a fiction book or not. Some of it sounded okay, but the rest of it sounded like it was, well, it sounded like fictional reading. But it's her experience, and I'm not saying anything else about it. You have to have your own experience to find out if it's legitimate or not. And for me, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. What I am going to touch about is what's happening in our world, changing us more ways than what we can figure out. What's true in ourselves, what's true in our core, what's true to us, what we believe and fight for. I'm not using the term die for. That's a martyr who wants his ego fed. Said before. Artist in recovery, do you want your ego fed? I don't think so. And about you, Rev, I know that you don't want it either. It's not what God wanted, not what Christ wanted in the first place. I don't want it either. I know I want to be one day maybe in heaven, reunited with my family, and then not leave them ever. My brother and I's relationship was tight. We watched each other 6. Best of friends. We were brothers. And that to me means more to me than anything else. Family. Reverend Daryl, there have been times that I had arguments with my big brother. And we would talk about our fathers. And I kept telling him, I don't care how many times you keep insulting your own damn biological dad, Dave. At least you knew the guy. I didn't. The only way I knew him is from you and Ma. All the stories I've heard, and sometimes I thought they were crap. My father was rich. He owned a yacht. He had patents over this. He was a magician. He was a musician. All I know, he was a damn deep dad who didn't give a shit about his damn frickin' son at this point over here. Left him to die and didn't even bother. Hangs up on his ass at the age of 5 years old, a year after heart surgery. So yeah, I left a little bit of a pissed off thing right there, you know? A lifelong of it. Didn't even bother to talk to me at all or apologize or anything. As far as I'm concerned, the guy died a long time ago. So yeah, there's been a lifelong resentment. And then I had to try to figure the shit out in my later adult life to think, okay, he was a coward. He was a, as much as I would love to use the saltier language, Reverend, he was a freaking coward. He didn't want to see his son. He didn't want to see Ma or David. And he knew him better than I. But he cut off all communications and he ran. Unless something drastically happened to him that removed him from the earth during that time period. And if that was the case, then that I could understand. But until I understand that in heaven, I still hold it against the bastard. Well, I wanted to know. There was no way for me to know whether or not he was alive or dead. And if he was dead a long time ago, then I wasted a hell of a lot of life on resentment and anger and frustration. And I ruled it over my brother on this one. Every time he kept griping and grumbling about his own biological, I ruled on his ass. Said, "At least you know the guy. At least you knew him. I didn't know yours, except through you, but I didn't know mine. I couldn't call him a father. I couldn't call him a dad. I called him the biological sperm donor. That was it. He was the hit and run. The story my mother would keep telling me throughout the ages. At the boat going over to Kettling and in the harbor, and then I was conceived. Tried to keep it romantic. Tried to keep it on the positive nature. Fine, you conceived in me. But then it was the afterwards. He knew Ma was alive. Ma gave birth. Nothing. I don't know if my mother ever reached my biological and told him about the heart condition or about the crooked limbs. All I know is Ma set up a phone call at the age of 5 years old. And then he picks up the phone and said, "Who is this?" "Your son, John." "Who?" "Your son, John Weaver." Click. That was it. We never knew where he moved to. We never knew what the hell happened to the phone number. He disappeared. Out of my life permanently. I hear people talking about their father left and right. I had no father. I had a working mom. I had an 8-year older brother. My brother was 8 years older than I was. He was trying to be the best guy he could. Our relationship had grown tight after his own situations. There was certain points in the life that I wanted to get rid of his ass because I didn't like the kind of a monster he turned into. I didn't realize the only kind of viewpoint I'm looking at myself as well. But in later adult life, our relationship had grown tighter and tighter. I'd walk through his hell. He was walking me through mine. Walked ourselves into recovery. I was watching his 6. He was watching mine. We were both taking care of mine until she died. It was hard as hell for David to sign that damn paperwork. And then we had to struggle, both of us, for survival. I walked through his shit. All the way through an ambulance ride from home to the hospital. To see him as a meat sack. Slab of beef. Six years ago. The hardest thing for me to deal with. It still hurts like a son of a bitch. So yeah, I mourn, I grieve, I am a broken man. I cry my ass off, my eyeballs out, and I don't let anybody else see it. I'm too damn embarrassed and too damn ashamed to show that kind of humanity towards everybody else. Showing them this is how a guy tries to deal with his grieving. He tries to pretend, tries to be the facade, the veneer, the fake person. Now, sometimes when I wake up in the morning and crying my eyeballs out, I don't even know why. Except maybe a dream motivated me to do so, or an errant thought hits my head, and then I'm so damn depressed I can't even get out of bed. Or maybe in the middle of the night, just before I'm going, and I was thinking about other things that my family wasn't hearing, and automatically I cry myself to sleep. I talk about this from time to time with my therapist, and I'll send her videos. Unfortunately, she hasn't had the access to get into YouTube to see some of this stuff. So she'll have to read a text or we talk about it. We'll talk about it, but it still doesn't get rid of the damn pain. It doesn't get rid of the hurt. I keep telling people, be lucky, be fortunate that you have yours. That you still have your family with you. I'm not angry at others. I'm not angry at myself or God because that was their time, I guess. I still had to reconcile that. My brother, I know he had medical conditions, nothing right, but to do it in the media like that. Not even visitations to let me know that maybe he was going to be next in the hit parade. I mean, he gets into the ambulance having a little bit of issues, but he's still joking with the people. The next thing I know, I'm going into the emergency room and seeing the trauma center with stuff all over the damn place that they're still trying to clean up, and then there he is. And I couldn't see his face. I didn't want to see his face. I saw the body. And I heard like a son of a bitch after that ever since. I knew I was all alone. And I had to deal and I had to cope. And I had to function. Years afterwards, I'm going through more and more of the emotional than anything else these days. I worried so much about my dog leaving me that I took a semester off to deal with her, but mostly to deal with myself. I can be that honest with myself. Despite seeing all the damn political crap happening these days, ready to drive our country over the edge, I'm already beyond the edge into the black abyss right now with my emotions. It scares my therapist that I'm thinking about on some occasions and yet too damn afraid to do it. Implementations are easy enough. It's the willingness to do so, or even the acknowledgement of it. And it scares her to a point where I missed one appointment that I had law enforcement pounding on the door trying to do a health and welfare check to see if I'm still alive. Just to make sure she knows that I'm still alive. To reassure her that I'm not trying to commit myself into that position. And you know what terrifies me more, Reverend? What terrifies me more, Daryl? Is I got to see the guy directly on this one. How the hell am I going to be able to explain to God that I decided to tear myself apart and say hell with it and see you personally? How am I supposed to square it with him that I got too much pain that I couldn't even deal with and I wanted to go home? How am I supposed to square that? I feel like God's going to drop kick my ass into the next century or just down below. Because I dared piss him off because I was in too much pain. Too much pain. I could be yelling and screaming at him and saying, why? I try to be analytical. I try to be logical about the damn thing. But emotional? I'm still screwed up on that one. Why? And again, I had to keep looking back at my mother. She wasn't. She was slowly dying in front of me, guys. She was slowly dying in front of me. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I didn't want to deal with it. My brother, he kept going to the doctors just to see and challenge the doctor. When was he going to die? Sometimes he made it a joke, and sometimes he was really serious about it. I suppose there was a lot more reasons to that anyway. I'd be losing my big brother if he actually meant it. I'm like, thanks a lot, you bastard. This is what you do to your little brother, discard his ass like this? At that point, I could be pissed off at him. I could be really pissed off at him. You left me. We're struggling. We're brothers. We're supposed to be. And somehow, it wasn't meant to be. I could try feeling good for other things, but losing my family tore everything else I knew. Everything I loved and cared about is my two families. My mother and my brother. And then there's the dogs. And one dog, I'm still worrying about whether or not she's going to be living the next day or not, but she's still got life left. So I got to have some kind of hope. I still got to hold on to that hope. I need to because I don't even know what else to do at this point, guys. See, everything around me is superfluous, including the shit that we're going through right now politically and everything else going on. Because the one thing that mattered to me the most is still triggering me left and right. Into this. I hardly ever cry on the camera. I hardly ever show this kind of thing because I'll turn off the screen and I'll be bawling my head off. I'll be wailing. I'll be wailing to God to forgive me for being in this situation, for being in this situation of crying to Him because the pain gets that bad at times. See, I don't care if something falls on this apartment and kills me, my mortal body. I'll be going. I'm not seeking it out. I'm just waiting for it to happen. But I still want to live. I still want to do shit. I still want to do stuff. I still want to graduate, damn it. Maybe the lowest rung in an educational level, but I don't care. I've worked my ass off to this point. I've enjoyed my time at college, and I did it. I'm struggling with rent right now every single month, struggling with balances. Okay, fine, be that way. Things I have to do in life. I know that. I'm focused on my dog. I'm focused on Mama's. And she's the world to me. They can stifle me on social media because of all that political crap. I don't care anymore. Because that one thing matters to me the most. Family. Yeah, there she is. There she is. I gotta get this dog fed. Alright, guys, gotta cut this. I guess somebody needs me and cares. And I gotta care for her. And I gotta get her going. She matters the world to me. Mama, come here, honey. I know, I gotta take you out. I just wanted you a few moments on camera. Ah, my world, my life. I know. I know. I know. Take you out. A little warm out there. Be able to deal with that? Huh? Give me a minute. I'll get you going. I'll get you going, honey. Yeah, I know, honey. I know. I'll get you going. I'll get you going. All right, let me put you down, okay? Let me put you down. I'll get you hooked up. I'll get you hooked up. All right, guys.